our next speakers are Clara, a director and founding officer of the Filecoin Foundation, and Megan Klimen, who is also a founding officer of the Filecoin Foundation. As we all know, there are many groups working in the ecosystem on these projects and initiatives, and the Filecoin Foundation is one of them. So today they'll be sharing the Filecoin Foundation's vision for environmental sustainability. Warm welcome, Clara and Megan.
Thank you so much, Angie, and happy birthday, Filecoin. Hopefully next year we can celebrate Filecoin again, this time as the greenest blockchain available, with all of your guys' support in helping collaborate with all of us from the ecosystem. So as Angie mentioned, for those unaware, the Filecoin Foundation is an independent organization dedicated to developing Filecoin and related technologies and to oversee long-term governance of the Filecoin network. And we've been around as a concept since the Filecoin white paper in 2017, but we really stepped up and grew our team a little over a year ago, where today we oversee grants, collaboration with storage providers, the Filecoin Improvement Proposal research, programs like Filecoin Plus, and much more. And we have also worked to ensure that we can achieve the greenest and most sustainable blockchain community in the best way, to not only be neutral, but as Juan said, net carbon negative. So there's a number of things that we'll dive into in the second half of our talk that dives into that. So today, I did want to share a little bit about who we are, and then also ways that we're collaborating. So today at the foundation, we have worked on a lot of efforts to bring together the storage provider community, which is an important part of this green initiative. From starting the storage provider working group to funding tooling and grants, we are trying to do this all in thinking about operations in the most carbon neutral way. And to do this, we must map a path. And so as we approach the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow next month, many industries today are thinking about their environmental practice, their impacts, and how we can contribute towards a more sustainable focus. And as Juan has already mentioned, the Filecoin network is used for storing files, safeguarding those files, and by periodically verifying that they remain stored in good condition. And so a lot of talk today, as several others like Harold just mentioned, use a different incentive structure. The energy used in Filecoin is to achieve a particular societal benefit. For Filecoin, the benefits are really in creating a decentralized storage network, which competes with big tech monopolies. And we believe all of us in this ecosystem can be the foundation of a better internet. Bitcoin's incentive structure, in contrast, ends up increasing energy consumption as mining becomes harder and more competitive, which has sparked widespread global concern. And in fact, in contrast, Filecoin's focus has been on incentivizing high capacity storage and high quality service offerings. And this approach helps us scale by providing meaningful work in which greener options are available in our process. And as an ecosystem, there's growing awareness among cryptocurrency and blockchain stakeholders, whether these are exchanges, storage providers, regulators, or the developer community, of our shared responsibility in addressing crypto's impact on the climate. And so these solutions will really require improvements in technology and process, and of course, in governance. So when we first built the first computer, it was the size of an entire room, but over time, technology became more scalable, and the developer of transistors and IC chips allowed us to shrink computers and make them available in every home and every pocket. And frequently, as energy consumption grows, as our demand for computing power increases, we need better hardware and software to mitigate this problem. And we must enhance the system's efficiency so we can achieve the same services for less energy input. And we've seen this really come to be with COVID and the amount of time people are spending on technology services today. Recently, we've seen major cryptocurrencies attempting to switch over to less intense infrastructures. So for example, Ethereum's efforts to shift towards proof of stake rather than proof of work. That kind of change is important and we believe a step in the right direction. Transparency and collaboration are other two keystones in achieving sustainability. And transparency means having clear, reliable, and science-based processes for estimating our impact. This allows us to understand our environmental footprint, identify areas for improvement, and also measure our progress over time. And we can also share this results with others so we can make similar improvements. And here's how we're achieving all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor to my co-founder, Megan, to dive into some of the initiatives that we're working with at the foundation. So Megan, turn it over to you.
Cool. Thanks so much, Clara. And just to take a step back for 1 second before I dive into what we're doing at the foundation right now, I think that like this question about the blockchain community and Filecoin in particular coming together to be thinking about our environment, like to me, like a lot of the reasons that a lot of us get involved in decentralization is because we want to create the kind of robust networks that can withstand this test of time. And so, you know, if we're thinking about these like long-term timescales, right? If we're thinking about trying to store humanity's most important knowledge on the 10,000 year timescale, you know, when like centralized servers can rise and fall, then it seems sort of crazy to not also be thinking about the world that we're going to live in during that time scale. So it feels like a very obvious, like hand-in-hand thing that we would be thinking about how to decarbonize and how to create, you know, be making sure that we are also building the world that we want to live in at the same time that we're building, you know, the access to information that we want people to have in these like longer term timescales. So things the Filecoin Foundation is doing right now to support these efforts. We recently became a supporter of the Crypto Climate Accord, following and inspired by Protocol Labs becoming a supporter of this initiative. So what this means is that we're making a public commitment to designing scalable solutions to create, you know, carbon negative ways for the blockchain community to operate and also to enhance our transparency around energy usage. There's over 150 other supporters, like I said, including Protocol. This initiative was modeled after the Paris Climate Accord. So I think it's a really exciting public commitment to what we want to be doing in the long term. We're also working on sponsoring grants for our storage provider community to be able to pilot some of these ways of using entirely renewable energy, to be able to use these case studies as things that we can then roll out to the storage provider community at large. And we're also working with Protocol Labs and ways of integrating these you know, green Filecoin initiatives with Filecoin Plus, so we can always be thinking about, you know, in the long scale, how the Filecoin network is incentivizing all of our participants to be, you know, working not just for the good of the network and for their individual good, but also for the good of the environment as a whole. And I think I will keep it short since we're a little over time and get us back on track.